Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. What Planned Parenthood and these pro-abortion advocates seem to deny is the fact that this is a baby within the womb, that it's an alive human being with equal rights to you and I. Now, this is an issue that's never addressed by Planned Parenthood. Their agenda always is, what is in the interest of making money for Planned Parenthood? And their agenda has also been tied to racist agenda that goes back generations in this country. This is a great movie. It's called Mayafa 21. David, I'd like you to have a copy of it. And then Rod, you can have a copy and you can pass it on to other members, But Rod, you had said to me, before this hearing that this issue is already dead. It's not going to come out of this committee, which is sad because the people of this state want this issue in regards to ultrasounds to be heard. They want children to have the ability that go before Planned Parenthood. A 14-year-old child goes before an abortionist, and there's no issue as to this child having been crimes against minors being affected against this child. There's no issues as to that. When we're talking about the issues of some of these bills in regards to taking away the rights of the mother and the father to participate in these abortions, they don't discuss the psychological effects of abortion after an abortion occurs. A pregnant woman who has an abortion has a 6 times higher rate of suicide than those who carry the babies to term. And this is according to the European Public Health Association in 2005. Teenagers who abort are 10 times more likely to attempt suicide than teens who have not aborted. This is according to the stress, depression, and suicide study conducted by Minnesota University. A recent study found that compared to women who give birth, women who aborted were 65% more likely to be at risk for long-term clinical depression. This was according to the Medical Science Monitor in 2003. In addition to these psychological problems, women are susceptible to serious physical complications due to the nature of the procedures used to abort children. Women can face hemorrhaging that requires transfusion, perforation of the uterus, cardiac arrest. Children do not know about all these associated causes traumas that can occur against them because of having an abortion, and now you're taking a parent's right to help with that decision away. Abortion, that was according to abortion practice in 1990. Women who abort are more likely to experience future ectopic pregnancy, infertility, stillbirth, miscarriage, premature birth, and all of these things are reported by the Dermatological Society in 2005. So this information I've provided to you in this pamphlet that is a very informative pamphlet, and it's in each of your holders there. And the pamphlet has photographs, of babies in development. Now, these are babies. This is what the pro-life movement believes. These are human beings, They believe that, each of us. David, how old are you? How old are you right now? Okay. All right, well, whatever age you are, David, say you're 40, I'm 41, When I was 20, I'm just as much of a human being as I was when I was 41. When I was 10, I'm just as much of a human being as I was when I was 20. When I was 5 or 1 years old and I was held in my mother's arms, I was just as much of a human being as I am now. Now, just because we are in an enclosure, we're inside of a building, we're inside of this capital that's supposed to represent, the issues of the people, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All of the constitutional benefits that we get from being in this country. Just because we're in this building doesn't mean that we're less of a human being than we are when we step outside of this building, because we're in an enclosure. These babies, they're enclosed in their mother's womb. Does it make them less of a human being because they're in an enclosure? No, I don't believe it does. And that's why these issues are so important. Because if people were allowed to see through this ultrasound the development of these babies, they would see in 10 weeks the baby has feet. And that is information that would skew someone's decision away from having an abortion. Or between 9 to 12 weeks, the baby has eyes and arms and hands and feet and a body and a head. This baby is fully formed in the likeness of God, right? Because that's what we say in our beliefs, right? That we are created in the likeness of God, right? And so Abraham Lincoln said the same thing. This is the 200 years since Lincoln was. He stated, nothing created in the likeness of God was meant to be trodden upon. And he spoke about this in regards to the abolishment of slavery. At one point in this country, slaves were not considered human beings. They were considered products or material. They weren't considered equal in rights to you and I. And this is a crucial point in our history where we are facing a human rights movement to get you legislators to understand that these babies are human beings, equal in rights to you and I, not meant to be trodden upon. They are created in the same likeness as you are. Aren't they entitled to the same privileges that you have? Aren't they entitled to the same constitutional protections that you have? You know, I tried to bring in video footage into this forum today. I tried to bring in video footage of an actual ultrasound. I bet many of you haven't even actually seen an ultrasound. You haven't even seen an ultrasound, yet you're making a decision as to whether or not someone should be allowed to see this ultrasound. The ultrasound footage that I had, it had footage of a baby that this state has the legal right to terminate, okay, through abortion. Now this baby had arms, had hands. You could see it through the ultrasound. I'll give you a step-by-step since I wasn't allowed to bring the footage in here. You can see the baby inside of the womb, all peaceful and calm, with hands, sucking its thumb, peaceful and calm, with the head and eyes, right? And then the doctor comes in with a cannula, which is a vacuum tube, and begins to agitate the baby, okay? And the baby tries to get away from the cannula. He literally tries to escape, okay? But he can't escape. Where can he go? So they break the water sac, and then they begin to rip the baby's limbs off and the baby's arms. And the baby screams. It screams in pain. They say the baby has no pain, but it's screaming. And they take a still frame of the baby screaming. And this movie is called The Silent Scream. How many of you have watched the movie The Silent Scream? How many of you have watched this movie, My Alpha 21, that associates black genocide with abortion? Do you know who Margaret Sanger and Marie Stopes are? No, you probably don't. Not most people don't know. This information's been denied to you. Okay? Now, wouldn't it infuriate you if you didn't know that this building was on fire? And if this building was on fire, you'd want to leave, right? Because you have this information, right? And it would make you upset if people didn't tell you the building was on fire, right? The only way you can react in this life is by information you take in. If you don't get the information, you can't react. And they've denied you the information intentionally to allow for them to murder babies, okay? Now, Margaret Sanger and Marie Stopes were known racists. They founded Planned Parenthood. In this country at one point, it was legal in every state in this, it was the law in every state in this country to force African American children to be sterilized. And that program was run through the American Birth Control League. Now, when it became no longer popular to sterilize African American children because legislators classified these people as feeble-minded individuals, that because they were feeble-minded, they didn't have the right to procreate. So they terminated their ability to procreate. They sterilized them. And that was the law once in this great nation of ours, okay? But the people decided, because some of these people who were sterilized, right, had already had children, and those children became the owners of major corporations. They owned numerous corporations, so they couldn't be classified as people who would bear lazy or feeble-minded children because they became the owners of corporations. So the people of this country said, it's no longer permissible to sterilize African-American children. So the American Birth Control League, as a marketing tool, changed their name to, guess what? Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood ran sterilization programs against African Americans. Margaret Sanger, there are great quotes from Margaret Sanger in this pamphlet that I gave you, and I really hope that you read it. But Margaret Sanger said, if the Negroes knew that we wanted to kill them all off, they'd try and stop us. Now, this information they don't want to portray to you. They don't want to tell you what the real agenda is behind abortion, that it's black genocide, that they locate all their clinics in African-American neighborhoods, that they spend 16 times more in marketing dollars in African-American neighborhoods than they do in white neighborhoods. We're intelligent people here. What does the effect of marketing and locating clinics centrally in neighborhoods have on a population? Well, 37% of the abortions that occur in this country are against African-Americans, but they only make up 12% of the country's population. They are specifically targeting a race of people because they have racist agendas, okay? They still give out a Margaret Sanger Award every year. Planned Parenthood does. They don't disassociate themselves from that. This information has been denied to people who go to these clinics. These children, who are literally children, who don't have the information to know that Planned Parenthood has a foundational basis in racist organizations. People who Margaret Sanger and Marie Stopes spoke before the Ku Klux Klan. Adolf Hitler modeled his concentration camps after the forced labor farms Margaret Sanger and Marie Stopes created in this country. People don't know that information. People don't even have these pictures to determine that these babies have feet, that these babies have hands. They don't even have that basic knowledge. And they are being tricked into going into these clinics and killing their children. Now, you people, I respect each one of you. Believe it or not, I do. I hope that you have, the integrity to look at this information and change your position on this issue. These babies are human beings, equal in rights to you and I. Now, what is the issue that we're facing in this country right now? This health care bill. This health care bill will fund abortion. It will fund abortion with our taxpayer dollars. So these mothers and fathers who are going to be denied under this state legislation from knowing about whether or not their child has an abortion are going to be funding that very same abortion through their taxpayer dollars. They're going to fund the abortion of their own daughter or their own son, and they don't know about it. And we're going to tolerate that as a free society. We're going to tolerate Americans paying for the murder of their own children, and they have no say in it. They have no due process. These mothers and fathers have no rights whatsoever. So all I'm saying is that, if some of the greatest leaders in our country stated that those who are created in the likeness of God should not be trodden upon, shouldn't you follow the same example? Shouldn't you follow, if you want to be great leaders, if you want to step outside of the box, don't conform to what they want you to conform to. If you want to be a true leader, wouldn't you try, please, to consider that these are human beings equal in rights to you and I? Wouldn't you try, and if they are, then should anyone be allowed to kill them? Or shouldn't a child at least be allowed to see a picture of their baby before the baby's killed? We're not forcing a picture on them. They have the right to turn away from the monitor if they want. This just gives them the right to look. And when they look, 90% of them change their minds. Why is that? Why? When they look at the ultrasound, they change their mind. Why? Because they have no one to be their mother and father. They have no one to lead them. You are their leaders. You are the people who are supposed to defend the people. And these children have no one. And all I'm asking is give them basic information so that they can make a valid decision based on that information. Are you lost? Seek love and put Jesus in your heart. Are you lost? Too far to see Jesus where you are. Just went wrong. One in love who wasn't strong, didn't turn and walk away. Did you love me for a while? Did I make you laugh or cry? Need your love, I need your love. Go, get it! Do it over, please. Let's do it over, please. I need your love, I need your love. Go on, get it! One love that just went wrong.